Well, hello there. Welcome to the Seth Justice Show. I, of course, am Seth Justice. Podcast number, I have no idea. It doesn't really matter because there is an absolute crazy snowstorm that is outside right now, and it is just, it's absolutely nautical. But it's also like not that bad. Some people were saying it's gonna get like real nasty and naughty, and I'm just like, it'll be fine. Like my mom's freaking out right now. But anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me for the Seth Justice Show here in episode number, like I said, I don't know. But yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, follow at Justice underscore radio on Instagram and TikTok and the Seth Justice Show on YouTube and Spotify. So you can check that out whenever you'd like. There's past episodes and all that fun stuff. Um, so today I kind of want to talk about the craziness of the good old weather, um, as well as phew, probably the cringiest thing I've ever heard of. And maybe a couple more things. I don't really know. We'll figure it out here today. But again, thank you so much. Let's start off with, something that's a little less of the insanity. Um, and just I don't know. It's just I think this week brought upon like people's I don't know if desires is necessarily the right term, but brought about an interesting mix. I mean, you had the Justin Baldoni stuff come out where his dad is just like saying, "Yeah, that's my boy. I'm proud of my boy," which I mean, as a dad, you kind of have to. And then you have the stuff that's happening in Minneapolis right now, which I don't want to go too deep into, other than the fact to say that I think we can all agree this is getting kind of insane, and this isn't the beginning of the insanity. We've been dealing with this insanity since, I don't know, for the longest time. And I thought maybe with the Charlie Kirk stuff, we might start being a little bit more sensible. But now it's even less sensible. And I be surprised? Absolutely not. I don't think so. I think because people are who they are, they're gonna react in the ways that they're gonna react, and that's perfectly fine. I just hope, that we all realize that none of this actually matters. And, us as individuals, we should care more about the people around us. And we should care more about the human beings as they are rather than, all the mess that people thousands of miles away say is important or should worry about, but we should more worry about what's going on in our own backyard and fix what is happening in our own backyard. So outside of that, that's as political as I'm gonna get because I really can't stand politics. And I've said this numerous times on this podcast where it's just like it's become such a religion. And I think just the mindset of, you know, somebody who has that as, the end all be all kind of deal, or the idea that, this means more than what we do on a day-to-day basis. I I think we just really need to take a breath. And maybe I'm overreacting to their overreaction because maybe it's not as bad as what I think it is. Seeing people like react in certain ways to certain things, and maybe that is the case. Maybe I'm just overreacting to that. And most people truly believe that we just need to love each other and we don't need to go out and be radicalized of either side, left or right. Um, so I don't know. Maybe that is the case. Maybe it's just such a small number. And again, it might very well be like the loudest people talking are the ones who are controlling this situation. But either way, I think we are better off as humans if we just focus on what makes us happy and focus on the good side of life instead of being all negative. And then, you know, then we can focus on taking advantage of our situations and being able to deal and be people that we want to be because that's who we are. So maybe that's what we need to do. But anyway, we're gonna be moving on from all the sad, sultry things because I think we have found the new social media thing and trend that people are gonna be doing because, you know, it's just what it is. And I actually kind of like it. I want more like personal social media things. And so I absolutely love this. I love the fact that, you know, people are doing this. And the reason why I'm saying all of this is because of the snowpocalypse that we're going through right now. I've seen so many people already on this Sunday essentially just do, oh, how deep is this? And a buddy of mine did a bottle of whiskey, which the snow covered it all. Like it's Kirsch. If you listen to 99.7 The Blitz, over in Columbus, Ohio, big shout out to Kirsch, my guy. Um, he did a whiskey bottle, and it covered the entirety of the whiskey bottle. It was so cool to see, and of course, I had to jump into it because cloud chaser. And I just tossed a cord and called it science because that's what it is, just tossing a cord. That's how you figure out things. Just toss something random and hopefully it sticks or, tells you how deep the snow is. But I think content like that, I think now we started to progress a little bit. And I think that's what 2026 is going to be more along the lines um, uh, of like personal, realistic type things. I think that is going to be the absolute like kind of like driving force in social media, which I hope so because I really do enjoy like learning about people, being part of people's lives in some way, shape, or form, and just learning what they're interested in and how they feel about X, Y, and Z kind of deal, or um, you know, even if it's just stupid snow content, because they're just like, oh my goodness, let me just drop this piece of thing in there, and then bada bing, bada boom, we got something, and it's just like, all right, I like that. So yeah, I don't know. Uh I think that that would be really cool if we did. But anyway, I'm already seeing people comment and be like, "Oh my goodness, millennials are already jumping on this trend where it's just like just, seeing how deep the snow is." It's just like get over it. Let's have fun. That's what we need to do. We need to have more fun and stupidness. Like, because I still, to this day, to this very day, I still like look at something like from Family Guy or South Park or American Dad, and I giggle because it's so stupid. Like, it doesn't have to be so, mind-boggling or life-alteringly changing, it doesn't need to, like, change the quality of the picture that you're seeing, like my camera is doing right now, which is rather strange and weird. I'll get an actual camera here soon, but anyway, but either way, it's just like we need that silly, stupid thing. We just need to laugh, man. That's what we need to do. We just need to laugh, have fun, and do the best we can with whatever life has to offer us in whatever, shape or form that comes to. And it's just like what we do, what we choose to do, makes a huge difference. So, yeah. Um, Oh man, I'm just looking over some of my notes about what to talk about, and there's a few that I want to get to, so we'll do that in a little bit. But I think yeah, just let's choose to laugh a little bit here in this day and age, and to be somebody that we want to all strive to be, like our own individual selves. So yeah. Anyway, let's see, what else? I mean, I guess we could talk about this. Alex Honnold. If you don't know who that is, this guy is absolutely incredible. He is a professional climber, and I remember seeing him in a Netflix documentary. This was quite a few years ago. I don't exactly know when, but I remember like watching a documentary about him and seeing how he climbs, and he climbs with nothing. Literally not like it's free solo, I think it's called, but he was climbing and climbing the biggest mountains, the scariest mountains, and he's done it numerous times. And um, I mean, one, I am not good with depths because I am legally blind in my left eye. So if you didn't know that, now you do. Um, so look at my eyes, look at my eyes. Do you see? No, there's no lag. I'm legit like that. Anyway, so yeah, so Alex Honnold is just one of those climbers. He's like in the space right now. He is known as the dude and the most famous mountain climber of all time, and especially climber right now because he just climbed a really super tall building. Um, let's see, it's called the Taipei 101 climb. So I think that's like I don't even, is that 100 plus stories in the air? Um, he climbed He free solo climbed one of the tallest skyscrapers in the world, uh, and a lot of people are saying like the money that he made was surprisingly cheap. Here's the thing about this dude. It's like his superpower and the thing that he's very passionate about, uh, and that's climbing. So, I mean, how much you really gonna offer somebody who is doing that if he's like, no, I don't care. Because he's made a lot of money, but I don't know if he's made that much money, if that makes sense. Uh, or his agents are just terrible. Like, I mean, bro, if you're not making like millions upon millions of dollars for each climb that you do, that's kind of on you, man. Like, I get that, but still, to climb one of the tallest buildings in the world in China, and one, they had to delay it because the weather was so bad and apparently the wind or whatever. And then he finally gets to climb it like the very next day because I think this was supposed to be on Friday. But then they had to do it to like Saturday at like 5 p.m. Um, but he climbed this thing and apparently didn't make a whole lot of money. And it's just like, bro, that's on your agents. Because obviously you don't care. He's a freaking hippie who is climbing, giant buildings because he's really good at climbing. It's on your people to do all that. And if you're having really bad people problems, you need to figure that stuff out and you need to talk to them and be like, yo, the people are saying I'm not making enough money. Why don't you go ahead and help me out with that, will you? I mean, that'd be great. Give me some money. Give me some money. So, yeah, but Alex Honnold, he's just one of those people who is just almost like a superhero, right? He's one of those like fabled people that um, would climb Mount Everest and you're just like, "Oh, okay. So this guy is just a weirdo who has a massive amazing superpower that is able to do these things." And one it is just so rad and so cool. Well, I haven't said rad in a while. Wonder why that is. Wonder why. I don't know. I used to say it a little bit. I not a lot, but every once in a while. I guess it's just like expanding your vocabulary, maybe. Maybe that's why. I'm just like, I'm gonna say that's cool or sweet or awesome. I've said awesome a lot recently, and I think maybe that's why I'm starting to think about other words that I can say or do or whatever. And so maybe what I should start doing is uh, saying rad again to, help with the whatever or gnarly. The gnar man. Yeah. I don't know. That was a weird tangent. I'm kind of in a weird mood today where I want to talk about a whole lot of things and yet I don't want to talk about a whole lot of things. I think it's this snowstorm that's really wild and everything like that because it's just like I don't know, it's just this winter has been strange where I have like fits of absolute energy and then I have nothing, absolutely nothing. Um, whether that's money, things going on, whether that's, just at, just feeling lazy or whatever. I don't know. I really don't know as my Laundry's going. Lovely. Anyway, but I don't know, it's just like weird moments. And one thing about me, and one thing that you know fairly well, is I love to talk. So the fact that this is kind of, causing me not to be so talkative is a little bit weird and strange, but maybe not. I don't know. I just like being weird, I guess, and overthinking about everything. Um, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Um, anyway, um, apparently there's more drama when it comes to Brooks Nader, who is probably honestly one of my favorite people. One, yes. Is she very attractive? You better believe she's uber attractive. Um, but she also just puts herself in these situations. And I don't know if it's necessarily her or maybe it's the paparazzi that's doing this, but she is apparently linked to Ben Affleck now. I'm just like, golly. Like first, Gleb Shevchenko from Dancing with the Stars, she actually dated this dude. So that was 100% substantiated. And then she goes to two tennis players, allegedly going back and forth between the two. And then now Ben Affleck. I'm just like, golly. Now here's the thing. I am not one to be like, oh no, you shouldn't go out and date people because that's not right. No, you should absolutely go out and date people. But especially if you have the ability to go out and date people, you should absolutely take advantage of that. But I am just shocked at, again, the amount of relationship glow up, what I like to call it. And here's what I mean by that. Somebody who has gone from Shevchenko, right, to two tennis players, to now apparently Ben Affleck. I feel like that shows your star is rising a little bit in the world. Like, you went from somebody who's an absolute no name, who pretty much the only person who knows who you are 40 and up people who watch Dancing with the Stars or people who really like dancing shows or whatever. And there's no shame on that. Maybe a little bit of shame. Um, then you go to two tennis players, which I don't know if that's an improvement or that's just a lateral move. I don't know. Then again, she was dating the world number one, so or allegedly dating the world number one. I don't know for sure. Um, so you have that. So that's kind of interesting, maybe. I don't know. But uh you have that. But then you have the massive glow up to Ben Affleck, who, all right, yeah, married, divorced. Sometimes people look down on that. I don't really care if you've been married before or if you have kids or whatever. I don't really care. And obviously Brooks doesn't care. Um, all right, well, she might. I don't know, actually. I don't know her from whatever. Um, but anyway, to go from the world number one in tennis to somebody who is easily recognizable from all of his movies, from The Town to Good Will Hunting, which he was in, to Batman, maybe not the best Batman, but we're gonna move on for him, and some of the other movies he's been in, but arguably a well-renowned person who, you know, I don't know, like who is just that dude. And honestly, after listening to him talk uh, uh, to Joe Rogan with Matt Damon, I like Ben Affleck a whole heck of a lot. Like I don't know, like he has a creative brain like I do. Um, and so I think it's like I always like Ben Affleck, and then I'm just like, oh, hearing that interview, I'm like, oh, because that's kind of how my brain works. It moves so fast and he talks so fast, and I'm just like, yes, that's me. And okay, anyway, back on track. But Brooks Nader dating Ben Affleck is just like going from, let's see, let's do baseball terms for people who may know baseball, or let's do musical terms, right? It's like going from some dive bar to going to Madison Square Garden. and being like, "Oh, see," but it's like Ben Affleck is Madison Square Garden in this standpoint, um, and he may not be as good as he once was or as prestigious as he once was, like Madison Square Garden. Still pretty big deal. Now, here's the thing about Brooks Nader. She is one, absolutely gorgeous, and we should never, ever, 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 ever say otherwise because she is stunning. I mean, she's a supermodel for God's sakes. Um, so she can do whatever she wants. She can be with whoever she wants. She has the pick of the litter. Now, I don't think a lot of times mentally we understand that, and I sure as hell don't understand that. I don't know who I could necessarily date or be with. But anyway, that doesn't matter. Um, I just I just find it fun. Like, how did these two meet each other? It's like Alex Earl and Tom Brady. How did those two? Did somebody like slide in the DMs? Did somebody like talk to them? Be like, hey, you would be great for Alex. Oh, hey, you would be great for Tom. Oh, hey, you would be great for Brent. Oh, Brooks, you need to go out on a date with Ben Affleck. Like, is that how it works? Because I need somebody in my life that is gonna do that for me. Seth, look, she over there, you need to go talk to her right now and be like, hey, I think you're hot. Let's go out on a date. I need a wingman. That's what I need. And I think that's what's happening here with all the beautiful people. So, or what we need to do is realize that we need more self-esteem and need to realize that we're actually enough for people. Yeah, we need a wingman. That's what we need. All right. Anyway, somebody who should have had a wingman that did not have a wingman is this lady who apparently uh I don't now this is not vaping. It's called vaping. Now, what is vaping? Well, yeah, let's first go to this, right? Let's first talk about this. So, this lady was on a show called My Strange Addiction, which is a show that apparently points out people's obviously strange addictions. I think we could have gotten it from the name, but either way, I wanted to explain it because that's who I am, because I find this rather awkward. Well, this lady, her name is Cassie. She has a strange addiction, and that strange addiction is vaping. Now, what is vaping? That's spelled Vabbing. Um, well, mind you, at least from what I know, I'm sure dudes could do this too, but it's mainly a female thing where they they take their downstairs stuff, their their no zone, the place that is only their special place. They take uh oh boy. Um they take what's going on there in the moisture and they use that as perfume. I'm gonna give you a moment to gather in your thoughts about that. And apparently, give you another moment. Apparently, vaping, whew, God, uh, she was doing this 50 times a day. Her natural pheromones, one could, could say. Um, listen, I get it. You know, I usually say when I fart, man, you always, love your own brand, even though we can all agree sometimes a fart is absolutely deadly and should not be inhaled by anybody. I think we can all agree to that. Sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're not so bad because we eat right or whatever, um, or however that goes. But sometimes they're real bad. Vaping, on the other hand, not vaping. Vaping is bad for your lungs. Vaping is seems like it's bad for your relationship status because I don't know if her whole dating situation is well, I don't know if it's wifey material. I don't know if it's necessarily the thing that you want your partner to be doing. It's like you're going out on a date and just imagine like, "Hey honey, I'll be right there." You know, giving the two fingers and just like I'm a germaphobe, right? And if somebody told me like after like the first date or like when we hug, I go, what is that smell? And they're like, oh, it's my perfume. I'm gonna be like, okay, do you wear it often? Is it like a natural thing? Like, that's what I feel like we have to ask now. We have to ask if it's a natural occurring perfume. Like, are you just straight musk? Are you just doing this now because that's what we're doing and because that's the thing that we're you know I don't know. But if somebody said, "Oh no, I'm vaping," like I'm right now in my vaping era, I'd be like, "I'm sorry. I was really excited about this date, but I got to go. I can't because again, my germophobia, man. Like like wouldn't you have like pimples? Wouldn't you have pimples? Oh God. Or what like what if you're vaping, are you just like not gonna shower for 2 weeks and then to make it more pungent? Oh my God. That's so gross. So gross. There's moments where I really like people, and then something like this comes up, and you're just like, why? Why can't I just like people anymore? Oh God, how did we get to this point of grossness? I don't know. Maybe it's always been. Maybe vaping has always been a thing. Like always been the moment where you're just like, oh, we're just gonna name it for not, taking a shower and not putting on cologne or perfume because we're just gonna take. Yeah, all right. Gross, dude. Ugh. All right, I need to get on a different topic because I feel like I'm gonna freaking vomit. Last thing I want to talk about. Told you. Last thing I want to talk about is the Adam 22 and Jason Love. Or is it Justin Love? No, Justin Love is a buddy of mine. Jason Love is the porn star. Anyway, Adam 22. If you don't know who he is, I know I've talked about him previously. He does podcasting. He does a show called No Jumper and a show called Plug Talk on OnlyFans. And him and his wife are both creators in a sexual nature. So there you go. So most times what they do is they have a threesome with Adam, Lena, his wife, and then somebody else. And that somebody else is usually a woman. Lena, this a few years ago, decided to uh, go and have her own personal scene with this one, Mr. Love. So, yeah, Adam, oddly enough, wasn't too happy with it. I think that was more like, him just clout chasing and just being like, oh, like at first he was like, oh, yeah, I gotta let her do her thing, it's fine. And then Jason started talking. Adam started talking. I think they've been building this up for a boxing match for a long, long time, and that's what happened. A boxing match occurred, and oh God, I was about to. Adam did not look great. You know how some people call other people like I don't even want to say it because now I'm thinking about the vaping thing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? A pussy. Oh, see, now I'm thinking about the vaping thing. Anyway, so it made Adam 22 not look great because he got knocked out pretty instantly. But what I'm thinking here is, right, because this has been a back and forth kind of thing for like 2 years now. I think all of this is just for clout. And I don't think that's up for debate. I think pretty much everyone's like, yeah, we saw this coming a mile away. I mean, they're just doing it to get a huge cash grab or whatever. And I don't even think it was a huge cash grab. I don't even think they did well. I think somebody was like, oh, well, we're going to watch this for 30 seconds. And then, okay, yeah, it's nothing. I mean, they were trying to hype it up, but no, just wasn't it, man. Just was not it at all. So it it's one of those moments where I'm pretty sure people saw this and was just like, yeah, we're not buying this, man. We're not buying this because we know what's going on. It's like you guys make content of a sexual nature for a living. If you were that insecure about it, you wouldn't be having this content conversation and you wouldn't be divorced or you would have gotten a divorce. You would have not had a kid together. At least that's the hope, right? And you wouldn't be on social media right now um, saying, "Oh, he's my man and I love him. My husband is so great. I'm so proud of him." Yada 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 yada. I mean, you'd still probably say that, but you wouldn't do cutesy photos and you wouldn't be like making out still. And like, if you were like, this turned me off from this man, um, because of X, Y, and Z thing," like, I don't know. Maybe that's wishful thinking, right? Maybe I'm trying to be like, oh, I wouldn't do that just for the clout. I wouldn't do that just to make $1 million or something like that. I mean, I probably would, but it's also like, I don't know, it's just weird, man. And it just seemed to me that it was just a clout thing. Like it was just like, oh, I'm gonna make this money and then move on. And I don't think that's I don't think that's a shock to anybody. I really don't. I think it's just, duh, that's what's happening. And we're not gonna say it. We're not gonna do anything. We're just gonna it's gonna look phony. And I think that's what it is. I think it looks phony to me and it just puts a bad taste in my mouth. Back to the vaping thing and back to I just know if in my relationship that I have with anybody, I would have to have clear guidance on how to deal with that situation. And I don't think I would necessarily, no, I don't know. I'm a very laid back dude. As long as somebody isn't cheating on me, I think I'm pretty well set. And I think that's a tough thing to identify when you're making content of a sexual nature. So I don't know. Either way, after all that pondering and all right, I got to be honest. I'm sorry about that last half of the podcast because it was a lot of inner workings. Oh, inner workings talk. Don't you love that? Anyway, thank you so much for listening to the Seth Justice Show. A gross edition. Yeah, that's kind of what it was. Gross. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Instagram at justice_radio. The Seth Justice Show on YouTube and Spotify. Please like, subscribe, follow. Yeah, all that fun stuff. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, I'll talk to you later. Have a great rest of your week. And if you're up north from anywhere from the Midwest to the Northeast, or you're dealing with this weather that is absolutely mind blowing in some cases, that we're going to have so much snow, please be careful. Please be safe and please stay warm. And hopefully you are well prepared. So, again, thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you later. Peace. Peace. There we go. Anyway, bye bye.